I hate to admit this, but why is it so hard for us to admit when we are wrong? I'm guilty of the same. Hi, this is Jyotika Bedi, founder of Happiness is Love. We make relationships better. There are things that make it very difficult for us to accept when we are wrong because it makes us really feel unpleasant. It makes us feel uncomfortable. But this is hugely important that if we cannot admit a mistake, we cannot ever change. We can't fix it or improve ourselves. Admitting it is not always fun. However, it is essential for our relationships and our well-being. One of the first steps towards doing better, being better, learning and growing is understanding first why we sometimes struggle so much with taking responsibility. And I'm guilty of the same. Number one, we believe that admitting mistakes makes us look and feel weak. One common reason is that we feel vulnerable or that we are showing our weakness when we say that we are wrong. Does this not happen to you? This comes from the mistaken assumption that strong or worthy people are never wrong. Often, this is an idea that again comes from our families or from people around us. We are not aware of this. It is at a subconscious level. The antidote to this is accepting that mistakes are a part of life. They're a part of our growth, our journey. Showing vulnerability is actually a sign of courage and strength and a normal part of us doing better and evolving to be our better selves. Instead of seeing our mistakes as a problem, we can see them as a showcase of our efforts, our ability to admit them as a mark of our inner strength and character. Number two, we have a hard time seeing the perspective of others. This happens to us as parents, as professionals. Another reason is that we can have a hard time acknowledging other person's perspective and accepting that another person might be right. This is not always linked to bad intentions, don't get me wrong. We might all find ourselves in this position when the other perspective is very unusual, is different or rare, and when it challenges our perceived notions. It's important to keep an open mind and allow yourself to consider new possibilities. You don't have to accept them right away. However, just asking yourself if it could be true and how could it be true can do a lot of help to you by keeping your mind more open and more flexible. Flexibility, I have learned because I didn't possess this muscle, is a great way of growing. It's an advantage because it allows you to avoid many awkward and challenging situations. Before you dismiss something out of hand, you can always consider whether it can or could be true and accurate. I started doing this and it's helped me hugely. Even if it is not, accepting and exploring new possibilities, new perspectives can always bring you new ideas, helps you expand your mind, helps you achieve better solution. Make sure you always give the other perspective at least a chance before you give it up or you reject it or dismiss it. Number three, you are oblivious, unaware of the mistake. An issue is that we don't always notice our mistakes or know that something has really happened. We're so busy living in our heads. It is, of course, difficult to make a change if we don't know that a situation requires us to change. But there are still things we can do here. What are those things? First, make sure, like I said, you are open to feedback from other people. Only way to grow is to seek feedback. Let your colleagues, your friends, your children know that you are seeking constructive feedback on maybe your decisions, your working style. Ask them for constructive criticism and then respond nicely to it. You don't have to agree with everything, like I said. All you need to do is to remain open to those data points and ideas and thoughts that they might suggest. Also, stay attentive to other signs that something did not go as well as you hoped. Let's say people's reaction to you or your thoughts, the actual outcome or any side effects you might not have known before. Seeking feedback is crucial for your growth and evolution. Number 4, you don't know how to accept a mistake. I didn't, I'm guilty of the same. Often we come from families and schools where mistakes were punished. This can teach us to actually hide our mistakes, and we frequently tend to find ourselves stumped when we have to talk about our failures, about our mistakes, about our follies. I went through this and it was a huge learning opportunity for me. We might also be afraid of other people's reactions or find yourself unsure of how to really approach a situation when you make a mistake. In this case, it's often tempting to try to hide, ignore, and wait for it to go away. I did this, but this is unhelpful. This is likely to lead to more trouble than actually the resolution. Instead, the right thing to do, the useful thing to do is to be open and honest when discussing things where you've played a part. Focus on what you have learned and recognize and how you intend to change it in the future. What are you going to do differently? How have you grown from this experience? What do you need to do in terms of your attitude, your behavior and actions, and see the magic? Number 5, you are worried about the fact that it will be used against you. In some workplaces, it doesn't feel safe to talk about our mistakes. Environments where errors are harshly judged and punished or taken personally can be very, very difficult to navigate and manage. But this is not a problem with the idea of discussing problems openly, but rather it's an issue with the environment. Work to change the culture if you can, and if it is not possible, consider what you can do as an individual. How do you face your mistakes and approach them in a positive way, in a constructive way? How do you give feedback to others and receive feedback from others? Always focus on offering solutions and ways in which you intend to improve what has happened, because this is your contribution, this is the part that you are playing. Have you ever admitted that you are wrong? Answer this honestly. Did it feel better than not admitting it? Do share your comments. We at Happiness is Love believe that together we are building ourselves, each other, and a better tomorrow. Keep smiling, keep shining, keep inspiring. Stay tuned for more.